Hey guys, what's up? It's the WordPress Doctor here, and I gotta be honest with you, this is going to be a pretty boring video. But I promised to create 5 videos about all the Divi modules, so I'm obliged to fulfill my promise. So here it is. As I was making this video, I noticed that all these modules are almost exactly the same as the normal modules. That's why this is a pretty boring video. You're still free to watch it if you want to waste some time, but don't tell me I didn't warn you up front. Have fun. Let's start with the first module. So for the next module, we are going to the About Us page and we are going to add something right there. If you press this button, we need to add a full white section because these modules are all in full white. So the first module we're going to talk about is the full white code module. This is basically just a normal code module, but this time it is full white. You understand? So how do I use most of the time this module? It's pretty easy. We just go to Google Maps, and on Google Maps we are going to this candy place I've once visited while I was there in Las Vegas. So here we go, it is the M&M's world in Las Vegas, and I promise you, if you're in the neighborhood, it's pretty awesome. They have a whole wall of M&M's colors. It is mind-blowing. But we want to have this shop in our code module. So how are we gonna do that? So for this, you actually go to Google Maps and then you go to share and then we do embed a map. You just copy this HTML. It's pretty easy. And then we go back to Divi and you just paste in the code from Google Maps. Of course, you need to go to white and change the white to 100%. And you can, of course, change the height to whatever you want. For example, 550 pixels or maybe even 750 pixels. It's all possible. You just save this one and here you go. This module works absolutely wonderful. Now you have the Google Maps embedded on your website. So this code module can be used for anything at all, but I normally use it for this option. All right, that's it. Let's go to the next module. And the next module will be a full white header. As you can see, it's just a normal header module, but this time it is full white. All right, so the main thing is you can just click this brush icon and you will go exactly to the title header right there. And you can change it to, of course, any title font, the size, the shadows, you can all change it right there. And of course, with the subtitle text, you can also do something really cool. If you just make it white, for example, and change the font a little bit. Gonna add some line height to this one. And of course, change the text of the body. All right. And then we go to background and we're going to create an awesome background color right there. Then you go to the settings of your section and you go to design, you go to divider, and we're gonna do one on top like this. We're gonna change the divider color to this one, like that. And we're gonna make the height 45 view white. All right, this is pretty cool. All right, now we go back to our WordPress full white header settings. And here you can just create something really cool. Let's change those buttons, for example. Or we're gonna make the button background color this one. And the other button, we're also gonna style it the same. Here you go. All right, it's pretty awesome. So with this module, you can also do something awesome. If you go down right there and we go to images and we add a header image, for example, let me show you how that looks right there on the right side. Because the header image will come on the right side of your text and your buttons, which is pretty cool. However, if you add a logo, this will happen. And you can actually have your logo on top of that one. This way you can change the header to fall off or maybe appear later on the screen when you scroll down. It's all possible with Divi. I think it's better one without the logo because we have the logo already there. If you press the brush icon of your image, you go to design and image. Here you can actually change the alignment of your image, which is very important. If you have more text, the image will be aligned at the bottom, but you can also, if you press this brush icon or you go to design and image, you can also align this button vertically so it will stay in the center, and I really like that feature right there. Right, if you go to design and you go to layout, you can also change the entire layout of the entire module. Here you can see what it does when I center it, or you can put it on the right side. So this way you can really pick a design you like. Also, this button, make full screen, is pretty cool because now it will make sure that the module will use the entire height of your screen size, which is pretty cool. So you don't have to do it yourself with all kind of spacing and padding and margin. No, just toggle this switch, make it full screen. I like that. If you do that, you should use this scroll down button. If you put in a button right there, and we're gonna style it just a little bit to have the same color. I would love to have a shadow on this one, like a white shadow. You can actually do that with custom CSS. You can of course do that with custom CSS. Just go to advanced, custom CSS, and you scroll down to the place where it says scroll down button. What I do like about this module is when you hit on the button, you actually scroll down to the next section. So they build it pretty awesome. The most common question I get, how do we get more height in there? Well, I showed you with the other header in the other modules. Just go to custom CSS, go to your title or your body, and just add a little bit spacing. Margin bottom will be, for example, 30 pixels. And if you just use this on your body text and your subtitle, you will create more spacing inside of your full white header. Alright guys, as you see it, the full white header is actually pretty awesome with this icon button. You can press right there to go to the next section. If you press it, here you go. So that works pretty awesome. The full white thing. I also like the full height of this module, so that's pretty cool. Keep that in mind when designing, that this module actually fills in a nice gap within Divi. Alright, let's go on to the next module. On this coffee website, we're going to create a full white image. It's the next image. I have never liked coffee. I don't know why, but I didn't ever get used to the taste or something. I don't know, man. I don't like it. But let's add a full white section, and we're going to add the full white image right there. So the full white image is actually, it's exactly what it says. It's an image, but then it's full white, and I really like it because if you click there, you can just add any image you want. If you want to use a full white image, you have to use an image which is pretty large in its dimensions. So we're gonna take this one. We're gonna use this image because it's beautiful and it's wide enough for our screen. Now you can't do pretty much with the full white image. You can only go to link to make it a URL, or you can open your image in a lightbox. And if you now look on the front end of this website and you click on this image, this is what will happen when you open it in a lightbox. You will see this. Well, all right. If you go to design, you go to overlay, you can actually create a overlay with this image. So for example, now it is all white, but I don't really like that, so I'm going to change it to white, and then we're going to add a little bit transparency to that one. Right there. Yeah, this is better. And of course the icon, you can now change it to black because of the background is white. And you can change the icon to anything you want. So you can use this one to go to the next page, for example. If you go to sizing, I definitely don't know why you want to do this on a full white module. You go to spacing, you can create some spacing around it, borders, transform options. Well, the full white image module might be the most boring module in Divi. All right, let's go to the next one. The next module is a Fullwidth map. This is the most useless module in the entire world of Divi. Why? I have said it before and I'm gonna say it again. This is so outdated. If you want to use this, then you have to need and add a Google API key. A Google API key for maps is not easily required for someone who doesn't know how it works. You have to do a lot of tricks to get it in there, and when it's finally there, you find out that you have to pay if you have more than a lot of visitors in your website. So this Fullwidth Map module, I'm not even gonna cover it, just go a few minutes back and there I show you how to add a Fullwidth map onto your website using the Fullwidth code module. Please Divi, remove the map module because it's so worthless. We're going to the next module. So for the next module, we are going to the theme builder because now we're going to create a custom header, which we'll be using for this specific page. So we're going to add a new template and we're going to add it to a specific page, all Divi Modules part 5, create a template. As you will see, it will now use my global header. I don't want that. I want a custom header, so I will not mess up my design of my entire website. All right, so what we're gonna do right there, we're not gonna use this section. We want a Fullwidth section and we're gonna add the next module, which is a Fullwidth menu. All right, the menu module, let's get rid of this section first. All right, the menu module is actually the menu, but then it is Fullwidth. How large can it be? Just add your logo right there, click add image, and scroll the way down to your logo. We're gonna upload it right there. Of course, it is way too big. Now, I always say, if you know what exact size you need for your logo, just go back, go to Photoshop or whatever, and resize it to the right size so it will stay really crisp and clear, and it will not be blurred out. And it also will save you some loading time for your visitors, and it's very good for your visitors and your SEO. But for now, let's go to design, we go to sizing. So you can change your logo wide. One tip, don't use percentage signs in this one. Why not? It will totally mess up your menu. What you need right here is pixels. So let's make it like about 200 pixels, maybe 300 pixels. And as you can see now, the menu items slide left, so they actually get up to your logo. This is very important because when I change this to percentage, as you can see now, and if you have a large menu, it will not work the way it should. So always keep in mind, use the pixel size on this one to rechange them. But remember, just resize it in your Photoshop and re-upload it. It is the best way to do this. The content of your menu, here you can change which menu to use. I only have the main menu. If you want to change it, of course, you need to go to Appearance, to Menus, and here you can change your menus on your website. And those menus you will be seeing right here. All right, we're going to choose this main menu. So if we now go to the elements, here you can add a shopping cart icon and a search icon, which is, of course, very useful if you want people to search your content. And a shopping cart is actually pretty useful if you have a e-commerce website. If you don't have a e-commerce website, you can of course leave this icon off. If you now go to link, this is a very important one. You have to fill out this one or else people will click on your link and nothing will happen. No, that is true. So just add a / and now when people press your logo, they will go to the home page of your website. On the background tab, you can of course change the background of your entire menu. You can of course add a gradient, you can of course add a background image, and you can of course add a background video MP4 file. That's all pretty logical. But what you might didn't know is that when you press on this button, you can actually change the background on different devices. So for example, if you want your phone to have a blue menu background and on the desktop a white background, it's all possible within Divi. If you don't want this, just press this button and you can activate it by changing the background colors on your different devices. As you can see that. If you want to deactivate it, just press this icon once more. And now it is all the same, even if I go to the menu, if the mobile, tablet or desktop version. Really awesome, isn't it? Let's go to design. If you go to layout here, you can change the menu style of your Fullwidth menu. You can make it centered and you can make it an inline centered logo. Now this is, I remember this one to be one of the very first things you could change within the very old themes of elegant themes. It was really awesome. This was the only options you had. So, but you can now, of course, use it any way you want. However, if you do want to have it centered, for example, or you want to have it inline centered, well, you can also just change your row settings and place all the different items in there. But that is not with the Fullwidth menu. If you go to layout, here you can change your style. You can make it centered. You can make an inline centered logo, or you can just keep it left aligned. The drop down menu direction, you can make it upwards or you can make it downwards. Now, it looks a bit strange if it is upwards, so I always keep it downwards. Why do they have the option? Well, maybe if you have a menu in your footer, which is just scrolling with your visitor, then when it go upwards, it is pretty logical when you're at the bottom of your screen. So that's why it is in there. Pretty cool. Make menu links full width. When you press this button, it will make it full wide and it will go to the entire left side or the entire right side. So you will make use of the full width of your visitor's screen. This might look a little bit weird once you have a design and you picked a row size, for example, 1280, then this would appear a little bit weird. But if you have a really big menu, then this is pretty useful. In the menu text, you can change the active link color. So what page is active will have a different color than all the other links when they are not clicked on. I always use this because it is a best practice to show visitors where they are at your website in your navigation. You definitely should have another color in your active link than in your menu text link, as you can see right now. Well, right, if we go down, then also we have the shadows, of course. So the text alignment is one of the most used features, and I think it's very useful because here you can just change the text alignment of your menu. I don't like it this way because I think it is too cropped into your logo, but you can take it in the middle or you can take it on the right side, which gives you a lot of space, and I like space. If you go to drop-down menu, here you can change all the colors of your drop-down menu. This is the background color. Let's keep it white. This is the line color. You should change your line color to one of your colors of your website. The drop-down menu text color, I would keep it like black. The drop-down menu active link, that's of course the same as your active link that we talked about previously. The mobile menu background, of course, to make it readable, so to pick a light color. And the mobile menu text color, let's keep it black. All right, let's go to the icons. Shopping cart icon color, search icon color, hamburger menu item color are all there. Just like the normal menu module, they're all there. Here you can change the font size of your shopping cart icon, as you can see. And of course, the search icon. Let's keep them in 34 pixels right there. Hamburger menu icon font size. When you go to mobile, you can see right now that something's a little bit off. Let's go with an iPhone. You can see that the entire menu has just fallen off right there. Why is that? It is because of the size of the logo. If you go to sizing, you go to logo width, the logo width, and here you can see that there is another icon. So let's change this to 200 pixels. There are my icons again. Let's change this to 100 pixels on mobile. And here you can see now that the menu again is visible. However, I don't want the font size to be 34 pixels on mobile. I press this button and I just change this. So now it is. Don't forget to push this button again with the other icon or else you will change it on the desktop size. And let's change it again to 19. And I want the hamburger size. Oh, that's pretty cool right now on the mobile view. Now we can change the logo back. So we go to sizing and you go to this on mobile view. And well, let's see if 250 pixels, that's a bit much. So let's make it like this. So let's go to the next one. Let's go to logo. Here you can change rounded colors to your logo, add a border, add a shadow, of course. That's all pretty awesome. The sizing, of course, we just been there. Spacing, border, and let's go to box shadow. I do like to have a shadow on the bottom of my mobile menu, because on my menu in general, because I really like the style of it. Alright, let's go to border, and here you can add a border to your module. You definitely could have some fun with this one if you, for example, want a left border in the size of your website, or also maybe a little bit of bottom border, which is also pretty cool to add some effects to your website. Let's make this a small one. And if you now go down to the box shadow, here you can actually add also a shadow, which gives us a pretty cool design for a website if you change it to the colors of your website itself. So you can actually do a lot of things with this full white menu. You of course know how to filter, transform, and animation. Let's go to advanced, let's go to scroll effects, and let's make this stick to the top of our page. So now the entire menu will stay on top of our page when we scroll down and change anything. This is pretty cool. And of course you can also use the transform effects when someone does some vertical motion. It scrolls down, another menu will appear. But we'll be doing that when I cover how to create a website, the Divi tutorial 2021. If you want to see it, subscribe, because it's not yet done, and you will get a notification when it's uploaded. Alright, that's basically it for the Fullwidth module. Let's go to the next one. So our next Fullwidth module is the Fullwidth portfolio. Here we go. The Fullwidth portfolio is exactly the same as the normal portfolio module, except it is Fullwidth. Of course, it is with all the modules in this video. I don't even know why I'm creating this video, but I told everyone I had to make 5 videos, so this is the 5th one. If you add a title to your portfolio, it will be added right on top. Let me show you an awesome title. And that is just the way it goes. I never use this title. I always create a new title. With the Fullwidth module, you have to add a Fullwidth header, of course, because of the Fullwidth section. That's why I don't use a lot of these Fullwidth modules. Alright, in the Fullwidth portfolio settings, you can choose any category you want to use within your fields of portfolio. Where are they getting these categories? These can be found when you go to projects, all projects. Here you can find all the things that's been added to my portfolio module. So if you want to use it, you have to create some projects inside of your WordPress website. So let's turn on the infant and the newborn and the teenager, so we have some things to change. All right, let's close this one. You can also change with post count the max amount of posts will be shown. For example, if I add 2, you will see only 2 projects right there. Most of the time you just leave it empty so you can have all your posts inside of your Fullwidth portfolio module. If you go to elements, you can change the title from the pictures, of course, when you hit the overlay. Now, if you go to elements, you will see that you have show title and show date. These are the things you can see when you hover your mouse over all the different kinds of projects. And you can, of course, change this one. Now you have no title, as you can see, and you can not show the date. So you only have the icon. Let's keep them in right now. Link, you can link the entire module to something. I would not do this because this is already a link in itself. And here you can change, of course, all the background colors, gradient, images, videos, whatever you want in the background of your title. The admin label just for you, so you know what it is when you're looking at the wireframe. Design, let's go to design, let's go to layout. You can, of course, change the layout to a carousel or a grid. I really like the grid style because it gives you a nice look and feel of all your portfolio items. If you go to overlay, here you can change the color of the icon. Let's make it, for example, red, as you can see right now. And you can change the overlay background color. For example, let's go for a little bit more of a dark way. Now you can see that it's like this. We have to change this one. And now it looks pretty cool. We can also change, of course, the icon. I often use a magnifying glass, so people know when I click that button, it will go out in a light box, or you go to the specific project. If you want to go to a specific project, maybe another icon would be better, like an arrow, for example. Okay, let's go to image right there. Here you can make the image more rounded. If that's the style of your website and you like that, you can do that. I hate it, so let's not do this. You can actually create something pretty awesome with the border white. If we create, for example, a black border, or this one, then you can create some other cool effects on your filterable portfolio. And you can, of course, change the style of your borders right here. So for the image box shadow, you can use the shadows, and you cannot see them very good right now because of the border. But as you look very closely, you will see that there is a really tiny shadow above all the pictures, especially the light ones. You can see it very clear right there. So if you like that, that's a pretty nice thing to add to your portfolio. All right, if we go down again, here we can change all the icons. So if you want, for example, to make all the videos, to make all the projects look like sepia style, you can actually change it right there, and it will create one style for all your different portfolio items. This can be pretty useful if you want to change something or just create a little bit of saturation to all the pictures at one time to really make them pop out, for example. If you go to text here, you can change the text color. And if you go to text, you can change the text on the overlay. So let's make them light. That looks a little bit more better on our dark background. And you can, of course, add some shadow to it. You can also add a white shadow to it. But let's not add it because it doesn't look really great with this font and this size. If we now go to the next one, the title text, here we can change the title text, which is actually all the way up here. It's the same when you press this button, this brush icon, you will go to this screen, and here you can change the font of your title, the font weight, and of course the font size, and of course the titles or the alignment of your title, so you can place it anywhere you want. Of course, a nice little shadow to it. And let's go to the portfolio item title text. Those are these titles right there. We can change them a little bit, make them bigger. As you can see, this really pops out way more. So I like that. Let's also change the font to Oswald. This is really great. And you can, of course, align them to one side of your portfolio in overlay if you want that. You can also change, of course, the color of everything, the text size. And here you can change the title letter spacing, so it gets really big and spacey. The line height is useful if you want, for example, to have less space between your title and the date, which I like in this example. As you can see, it looks way better right now. The meta text is, of course, the same. It is just the text below that. If you make it bigger, this is what happens. But we're gonna keep it like this because I like it. We're only gonna change the font to Nunito, which is a pretty smooth font, and make it capital like this. All right, I like it. I like it a lot. Let's go to sizing. Here you can change the width of the entire module. Well, what's the point of a full width module if you change it to half of your size? I really don't know. You go to spacing. Here you can add some spacing on the top of your module, and on the bottom, of course, some padding. Very logical. Borders, you can add a border to your entire module. Let's say if your style is rounded corners, you can change it of the entire module. The border style, let's add some borders right there. As you can see, I really don't like that one. Well, the shadow, of course, if you want to have a shadow on the entire module, you can also change it here, but I prefer to use these section settings and add a box shadow to the entire section, just because it looks great. Here you go. And of course, you can change the filters again and transform options, and we go to advanced. You can change it, actually disable it on phones or tablet or anything. If you now switch to your mobile view, you can see that the portfolio module is actually just one really big portfolio with all these pictures below each other. You can change this to 2 columns, and you have to watch my other video about the portfolio module where I explain how you can do that. Alright, let's go to the next module. So the next module we're going to talk about is the full white post slider right there. And as you can imagine, yes, it is a full white post slider with all these categories you can choose. This one will actually slide your posts. Is it that simple? Yes, it is that easy. And what I do like the most about this module is that it is full white, of course. So what are the post colors? Well, let's go with 3 posts maximum. As you now can see, there will only be 3 posts in this module right there. You can of course change the category you want to choose. You could change your dates and you could change the button. Watch this video. And you can of course show export or show content. But if you do show content, then it will be, as you can see, a little bit of a mess because I have a lot of content in this post. So I would suggest you just use show export. You can also just disable this entire thing. To do that, you go to elements. But first, we're going to use the post excerpts. Of course, the length, you can actually choose how long it will be. And the post offset number, which is very useful if you don't want to have the first post in there. You just type in number 2 to start with number 2. And you can also start with number 3, for example. So this way you can have for example, a post above it with all the information. And then this one starts with number 2. So the post offset number is pretty useful. Let's go to elements. You can choose to show your arrows, your controls, read more buttons, and the post data. The post meta. Well, if you don't want to post meta, it looks a little bit cleaner right now, and we don't want to. Well, I do want to show the arrows, but I don't want to show the controls. The controls are the dots right there. The featured image, you can choose to show it or not to show it. That's the question. And you can of course turn it on the left side, on the right side, on the top side, on the bottom, or use it as a background. Let's use it for a background right now. If you go to design, you can choose your overlay, the background overlay color. Let's make it a little bit more darker like this. It's pretty smooth. Or you can actually use a color, for example, whatever suits your website. And you can also combine this with a text overlay or just choose only for the text overlay, which is pretty cool if you ask me. Just make this a little bit like this. But you can also combine the two like a white text overlay. You can create a lot of fun things with these. Let's just keep the background overlay. If you go to navigation, you can actually choose the color of your arrows right there. And the navigation dot color are these down there. If you go to image, here you can change the image border, for example, but this only works if you have your content, your featured image set on the left side, for example. As you can see right now, if you go to design, image, and here you can actually, now you can see what will happen if I change all these settings to create something awesome. But we're not gonna do that right now, so we're going back to featured image and let's use it on the background. All right, here you can change the alignment of your text on the left side, right side, or just fill it out, but just use it on the left side. That's pretty awesome. Text shadows, of course. Title text, here you can change your fonts, Nito, for example, or Poppins, which is most of the time pretty cool headings. Let's use some semi-bold. Or just make them thin. I think thin is pretty cool for this website. Alright, you can change, of course, your text alignment. Change the size of your titles. So the rest of this module is pretty basic and you know how it works, except I want to show you one more thing. If you go to sizing and you go to content width, here you can actually change the width of your content. If I make it pretty small, you'll see what happens. It will stay right there and it will be a bit smaller, which is of course very useful. All right, well, that's it because the rest is pretty simple, and it's actually the same as the other module. All right, let's go to the next module. So the next module will be the full white post title. Well, as you can see, of course, this is what you get when you add the module. It will show your title in full white. Is it useful? Yes, it is, but not very many times. It is most useful when using the theme builder. That is where it actually gets really interesting. But I'll show you how to customize it. Just show your title, your meta, of course, author, date, your date format. Show your comments, your featured image, and where do you want it? We want it above the title. Your featured image below the title, above the title. Well, I don't have a featured image on this page because this is a page. The funny thing is with this element, you can also use it on pages. So for example, this is a page, it has no featured image. That's why it is right there. Let's go to design. You can also change, of course, every element of this thing, like your titles, your text, and let's just create it a little bit bigger. And you can just add some spacing right there, and now you can get a post title. So you can also add a gradient, for example, which is pretty awesome if you make this white. You can create all kind of things with this module. It's very straightforward, very basic, and I do not use this very often because I do like to use my normal modules and my normal rows to create a full white module, but just not a full white module. You know what I mean? All right, let's go to the last and final module of this series. So the last module we're going to cover in this video series is the full white slider. Well, as you know, it is just a normal slider, but now it is a full white by default. So how does this change? How is this different from the normal slider? Well, actually, the only thing that has changed is because it is full white. So it is actually, again, a pretty boring module because it is just the way it goes. Purchase your car button. Ask a quote. And let's give it a background image. Look at those beautiful cars. What are they doing there? Like this. And then we're just gonna style it like this. We're gonna make it white and we're gonna align it on the left side. Also this one on the left side. Make it a bit bigger. Add some more body line height. And then we're just going to add a little bit of background gradient, a background overlay. Here you go. And I'm gonna make it this way. Yeah, I really think you get the point. Again, the slider module is also pretty the same as the normal slider. So if you want to have more information about that one, just visit my other video. Alright guys, that's it, and I know it was a pretty boring video, but I told you on front end. So if you're still watching, hit that like button because it seems like you liked it. And if you have any questions or comments, just leave them below. And if you see anything that's out of order or you think I missed, leave them in the comments because I always like to learn new stuff. Alright, I see you in the next video and have an awesome day.